All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Social Marketing Show. I am joined by my very good friend, Zach Hoffman, and it is Marketing Monday. We're giving you the mindset and the marketing on Mondays now, so you get them both now. So welcome back, Zach. What's going on, brother?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, there's a few hot topics that we should be talking about here this Marketing Monday. One, podcasting, the extraction of information, the beauty of it. The big box office weekend as we go into Thanksgiving, led by Wicked, and then Gladiator 2. We just have to talk about it because Gladiator's the classic of all time. And then Meta's huge investment into Nvidia chips and why AI is here and how the big companies are utilizing it for their purposes. So let's just jump right in, talk a little bit about podcasting. It's a topic that me and you offline, we're always talking a little bit about podcasting, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just becoming increasingly more popular because it's such an easy way for people to have conversations and to hit the trends, hit the headlines, hit the topics they need to talk about. It's a efficient way to do digital calls. You can do it with anyone in the world. And just like this, you can go live. There's no excuses in 2025 for people to not have content or not have a show or anything. And so our job as, CEOs, digital CEOs, marketing agency and media agency owners is to show people how easy this really is to get that ad copy or to get that advertisement clip or to get that case study by just getting on calls and recording, because, not everybody is as savvy as a guy like you on camera where they've been doing this for 20 years and they can just hit 30-second ads on the spot and rifle through those. And so this is an easy way for people to feel comfortable on camera. And so I think that's part of the reason why it's so popular.
Oh, well, for sure. But the natural Q&A, the natural flow, like when you talk to other experts or other colleagues that you might know in a specific vertical or industry, and you want to extract information or just like learn a little bit more about who they are and how they impact the individuals that they work with. When you hop on a podcast with them and you just start to, even if they've never been on one before, the natural flow of information from individuals as if they're getting into just a Zoom meeting. It's I would say since post COVID, almost everybody's been in a Zoom meeting, in like a Google Meet. They've been in these environments, Teams. So the ability to naturally talk into a camera and communicate effectively, it's been something that I would say individuals have been honing in on an expertise on this over the past 4 years, and it's overlooked as to the comfort of almost everybody in business right now when it comes to meeting face to face via digital, via Zoom.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the ease of use. You don't even need anything fancy to look sharp and sound sharp, and you can always go back and you can make audio or the video look different or add some crispiness to it. It's just, there's no reason, again, why people can't be joining these. And again, even digital communities, there's so many free Facebook groups with calls just like this where you can learn how to grow your company to 6 figures or 7 figures by learning from people that have actually done it. And a lot of those groups are free. It's crazy.
Look, even pushing 8, 9, 10 figures. Look, people love to talk about their success. There's nothing more that successful people want to see than other people become successful, because we all know that's not overnight. It's a marathon. It's like, even before this call started, you told me the Nvidia CEO and executive. Look, even the Zuckerbergs of the world, people love to think that these guys don't work. Like, the reality is Bezos puts in more hours than anybody. These guys just they sacrifice a lot to get to these positions. The Musks of the world, like the Trumps, like they are constantly working. They don't stop. They don't say like, oh, I'm retiring at age, da da da. Like, that's just not the vision. The vision is
keep
empire,
going. Right. Yeah. And the other thing about those people is they find other folks that have skills that fit certain categories that they need filled, and they allow those people to shine and they pay them well. And I think that for me as a social media guy, most people think about social media and they think pictures of my kids or pictures of the Thanksgiving turkey, whereas CEOs and business experts and category leaders look at social media and they say, wow, this is a traffic funnel that is unlimited. It is a limitless traffic funnel as long as as I publish every day, build a community, and create conversions. And again, I always say this too. Conversions don't always mean sales. You could convert somebody into a friend, an ally, a reference, and those things are worth a lot. You got to have as many people in your corner as you can.
For sure. And the beauty of controlling the feed, I mean, if we all know, if you go out to traditional media, they have last edit. You know, they have the ability to take out information or content that you're like, that was what I wanted the users, the visitors to actually hear about. They're getting the last chop. But you know, even going back to like that core of podcasting, right? I love to tell people it's like if you look at it, Joe Rogan is literally the Barbara Walters of our time. The stature, the level of interviews that he's getting from Elon Musk to Donald Trump, like over the past, year, those have been epic interviews that have gotten 50 to 200, 300 million podcast views slash listens. It's absolutely
It's insane.
incredible.
It's insane. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely like a Larry King-esque interviewer at this point. And, the people, again, and then there's always those people who are like, oh, well, that person's this or that person's that. And it's like, listen, I mean, Joe Rogan doesn't have time to think about who's commenting on his pages. He's got time to think about growing and growing and growing. And he used to be just a comedian that was hosting Fear Factor. And now he's got $100 million Spotify podcast deal. And so you bet your butt this show goes on Spotify. And this show goes on Apple Podcasts because just a piece of that pie, just 1/100th of that pie, and everybody eats. And well, as marketers, we want a piece, but you got to go out and earn it.
Contribution margin, and it wasn't about that contract division. He even had the UFC, hosting position. He's just elevated himself rapidly. He just was continuing to get himself out there and hitting the rungs of interviews. They only grew with time. I mean, look, he's approaching a general audience out there, and he's gotten the eyes and ears of, what every star I believe in Hollywood would dream of, or even, news anchor. It's like you mentioned Larry King. It's like there's no CNN to float him. There's no Larry King used to be on CNN. You don't need that anymore.
Nope.
That's gone. You look at Tucker. He's on Twitter, on X, kicked him off Fox News. He's much bigger than the guy who was taken onto Fox News.
He's bigger than the entire Fox News network. He gets more views on X than an entire network of Fox News broadcasters. And that's where I think you and I really align on the point that mainstream and traditional media is slowly dying, and it has lost its grip on people's reality. Like, we look at that and we're like, they're full of hot air. People don't believe it anymore. Well, what does the person on X say? What does they even say that? And you're gonna love this one. TikTok searches. People search on TikTok for information just as much as they do on Google, which is crazy.
Can't say I agree with you there. I mean, the intent
or it's
of what
close,
you're on,
right?
the stuff you're searching on TikTok's got to be way different in severity.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily our client avatar that's searching, but the searches are still there. You know what I mean? And again,
the searches are there.
It doesn't mean that you don't need to be on Google, but my point is that TikTok page that you're populating ranks on Google, and so you want people to be able to find you everywhere. Let's talk about this NVIDIA guy. Let's talk about NVIDIA. What is the statistic that you had of people buying the NVIDIA chips? It was Facebook or Meta, right? Because this goes right into it all.
What's that?
The NVIDIA CEO bought a bunch of chips, right?
No, so Meta bought 100,000 training chips, essentially from NVIDIA to train their learning, their learning models.
Go around. It's my kid. NVIDIA bought a bunch of chips. Are you freezing on the stream?
Yeah. So their large language models are being trained on NVIDIA chip.
I think our Zoom is freezing for some reason. Yeah. Hey, hold on a minute. Mom's at the gym. It's Thanksgiving break. Zoom is freezing on us, I think. Boom, 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 boom. I think the Zoom is freezing, but that's okay. So the moral of the story is Nvidia bought a bunch of chips, or excuse me, Meta bought a bunch of Nvidia chips so that they could start to produce their AI model better. You want to match your doll? Honey, I'm in the middle of a show. I'm in the middle of a show right now. And Zach's stream is frozen. And now you're here.
I'm back.
There he is. We got the Thanksgiving week. Zoom's being funny. Anyway, let's go into here. You go downstairs with your sissy. I'll be down in 10 minutes. You just want to stay here? All right. Here.
No, I want to match my doll.
You want to match your doll? Okay, go match your doll. All right, so Nvidia chips. Meta bought a bunch of them because of AI.
Yeah, I mean, look, they bought, yeah, they're stockpiling. They bought 100,000 plus chips. Mark Zuckerberg here is quoted in the Wall Street Journal as saying what he's building is bigger than anything I've seen reported for what others are doing. I mean, look, the Meta, the Facebook, the Instagram, I'm sure they've measured their traditional models versus AI baked algorithms to like engage us as users
Right.
and the difference in what they're seeing as to how the engagement when it's trained through AI, it's probably lighting up their revenue numbers. They're probably catching an extra 10, 15, 20%, which we know on the Facebook, Instagram side of things. Those type of numbers to be able to conquer and build that up is just huge.
Dude.
It's the best quote I've heard about AI is you just can't be caught on the other side under investing in how AI is going to be applied to your business. And that was coming from the CEO of Google. I mean, it doesn't get much larger than that. So, yeah, small business owners out there, any company, any size, privately held, family-owned operations that are looking at AI, just saying like, how do I crack the funnel or how do I do one thing more effectively? It used to be implement a little bit of custom software, a little bit of programming, but now you bake some AI on it. It's just like you're hitting a whole nother level of innovation.
Dude, and even I think Facebook also, or Meta, I always call them Facebook, but ManyChat is an AI DM system. You know what ManyChat is, right? We use it in your Instagram. So
Yeah.
if you say a word like, comment the word toolkit, and I will send you a free PDF file to show you the social media toolkit. Well, ManyChat was licensed to use the API or whatever it is. You know more about that kind of stuff than I do.
Yeah.
But it sends you an automated messaging system. Well, Meta is installing their own version of that. So it'll be within all the Meta software. So if you're a Meta verified user, you'll get access to all these new AI bot systems of turning Zach Hoffman into a bot that can communicate with his audience even if he's offline, which means 24/7. People can go to your pages on Facebook or Instagram and you can respond to them and send them to forms or send them to consultation call booking links 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without touching anything. It's digital, it's AI, it's automated, and it's done for you. And it's included in the software. These platforms are giving so much to their audience for free. It's insane. And people who say that, Facebook is dead or this system's dead, or they're totally wrong. There's billions of users on these platforms, all of them. And that's why we're live on X, YouTube, and Facebook, because I think as streaming platforms, those are the three best ones.
Oh, you can't predict where the audience is. I mean, look, I'll admit, I got to watch a little bit of NFL this weekend. Like I was watching my Miami Dolphins just for a few minutes till the kids came running in the house.
Of course.
Put Netflix on. What did I do? I hopped right onto the cell phone, onto the ESPN app a little bit. Dolphins blew out the Patriots this weekend. It was very nice to see. But
Oh, yeah. Anytime the Patriots get blown out, everybody's happy.
hey, man, yeah, I mean, well, if you're from Miami, but it's just, yeah, I don't want to go too deep into football. I did see a great ad. United Airlines had a great ad on the football broadcast, but me being their avatar, and I watched this ad and I connected with it. It was about business travel, taken to family travel, and just like, yeah, just the echelons of like how people travel these days when it comes to air. But then I never saw an ad again from them on Meta, Instagram, X, like where I actually spend my time. They're lucky I caught that
Mm,
2 minutes on the NFL broadcast because I was in and out on that broadcast. There's no such thing in my life with little kids right now as to like getting to watch a 3.5 hour NFL broadcast. It just
no.
doesn't happen. And it's amazing how many billions are still thrown at it like blindly to be like, oh, there must be people watching. Like, I don't. I, even the NFL is endorsing fantasy football heavily because they know that the viewership has actually increased based on the competitive nature of what fantasy football has done for the league. It's actually saved the league. I mean, this is a league we talked about them last week, how they've like basically taken the sanctity of their broadcast, given it to Amazon. I mean, they're
Yep.
grabbing the coattails of Taylor Swift right now. It's just like, what are they going to be doing going into 2025 to 2026 to try to gain more market share and garner the audience that it's
I'm
just,
glad
there's
you brought her up. You know,
so
I
much
always
going
know all the
on.
music facts. So Taylor Swift's tour actually generated more revenue than the entire NFL, every single team combined. Taylor
Really?
Swift makes more money than the entire NFL.
Oh, I was in New Orleans when she was coming to town, and the Super Bowl is going to New Orleans, and the taxi cab drivers, the Uber drivers are like, this weekend is going to be bigger than the Super Bowl. And I'm like, how is it going to be bigger than the Super Bowl? They said Taylor Swift is doing multiple shows at the stadium. She has sold out more revenue than the NFL is forecasted to sell with the Super Bowl. Their biggest event of the like every year. It always builds up to that pinnacle. Taylor Swift just going to New Orleans,
Well,
crushed it
and think
months
about
ahead.
that. She's a personal brand, but she can't do those shows without a big crew and lighting people and dancers and guitar players and bass players and drummers and DJs and all these things. There's a whole lot of people that get paid along
Oh,
with
yeah.
Taylor. And so people who look at someone like that and they're like, oh well, do you know how many opportunities she's creating for people? So many people are going to be able to leave this tour that she's done. It's been the biggest tour ever in history, ever. Bigger than Michael Jackson, bigger than anybody. And they're going to be able
Yeah.
to say, hey, I worked on the Taylor Swift tour. And they're going to get more opportunities, more revenue for themselves. A lot of these people are independent contractors, and they're relying on that reference and that referral. And so this is going to have ripple effects throughout all those people's careers. And I encourage people to think about that. Whether you like her or not doesn't really matter if you're able to separate yourself from, whether you love the music or the messaging or whatever, and look at the fact that she's providing a ton of opportunity for people.
Oh,
Why? Because she's an entrepreneur that took the leap, that built her brand, and now needs all of these people around her to make the machine work. And that's where
uh,
people like you and I come in. We want to be a piece of the machine. We want to help you win. Taylor Swift is a
she's a,
prime
she's a
example.
she's a powerhouse. She's
Totally.
her own economy. It's like, look, and there's an example of somebody that she doesn't need to tour. Like she's doing this by choice. She's doing this to keep accelerating who she is.
Yep.
She's in her prime. She's just got to grab it and run with it. It's absolutely, yeah. In the reviews, she gets rave reviews about her tour. So, she doesn't, cut it short at all. People love it, and she's out there for her fans, and she's active on social media, even engaging fans that, she knows they paid a lot for the tickets, but like she's hyping people up on the way into the shows. Like she's active on her social feed, just like even previewing the setup. She's
Yep.
out there, she's working, she's doing it.
It's great. It's great to see. And it's a great example of somebody that's doing it at a high level. Box office. This is a big week for myself and for you, obviously, being a media company and a marketing company. It's like all of our clients, and guessing your clients, have Black Friday sales coming up. The holidays are right around the corner, and we've got to be producing a ton of media to be run as ads or to be utilized organically or to be boosted. And you've got the Gladiator, you've got people are going to movies, people are spending money over the holidays. And if you're not marketing and putting yourself in front of these consumers, it is money time out there in the
Well,
economy right now going into 2025. And a lot of people, they want to let off the gas over the holidays. Dude, this is when I turn up the juice, because back in the day, the night before Thanksgiving, the night of Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, like those were hot days for me to go out and perform at the bars. When I was a bar performer, I was performing every single holiday gig that I could get 3 times a day if I could, because people are out spending money.
Oh, they're definitely spending money, but as a marketer entrepreneur, it's a forever cycle, right? Like we're
Yep.
just coming out of like summertime, everybody's got an excuse, then the fall starts, and then you have Halloween, now you have Thanksgiving, then you
Yep.
have Christmas, and then whatever holidays people celebrate. You have everything just kind of blowing up at once. But then 2025 hits you. You have the New Year's resolutions, you get into Valentine's Day. It's a perpetual cycle. I mean, we have a lot of discussions about what people are going to be doing for 2025 budgets going into this cycle right now. And it's just remarkable as to like it's never really just like there's never a specific date to decide to market and advertise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. But I do think a lot of times we see some people, they want to put the sword down and just not pump through the holidays. I think that's a mistake. I think that the people that are going to gain the most, marketplace equity are the people that are in front of eyeballs. The Black Friday sales, the Thanksgiving, there's going to be Cyber Monday, all this kind of stuff. And for media
Yeah.
teams and marketing teams like us, it's like, yes, everybody's busy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely there's things happening. I mean, it depends on the audience, right? That's
It does.
a heavy consumer driven audience. There's also a lot of professionals that do, put the sword down, but they're out there spending money, they're out there shopping, they're out there
Correct.
traveling. And that's, it's big travel time. Like I'll put, I will definitely I'll be paying attention to if there's anything that comes up that's urgent that needs to be addressed, but also, I'll be traveling, I'll be consuming in different ways, spending time with the family,
Yep.
watching the Thanksgiving Day parade. Yeah, just,
The
consuming.
parade. Yeah, dude. I mean, this stuff, it's all part of the American culture now. And going to the movies. So we brought that up at the beginning. Like, this is
Oh yeah.
one of those times of the year where it's starting to get cold outside. And it's like, the kids, they're cold. They don't want to go outside. It's too cold. What are we going to do? Let's go see a movie. So you said Gladiator 2 is just killing it and Wicked is killing it. What's the
Uh,
story on these films?
Well, the irony is your daughter brought in a Barbie doll when
Of
she,
course.
came to the live session. But yeah, so Wicked, I actually went with my family this past weekend, and I'm a Broadway fan, so I thought it was absolutely incredible. I had zero interest in seeing Barbie, but Wicked, I was like, sign me up. I'm
Is
definitely
there
going.
another Barbie movie?
No, I'm saying I didn't see Barbie. I still have yet
Oh,
to see Barbie, but
apparently it had like bad language and nasty innuendos. We never went to see it yet.
really,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
sticking to
So
the old cartoons that are already on Paramount or whatever.
Wicked kept it relatively kosher. There was a little something in the opening scene where I was like, that's a little weird to have in here, but the movie was absolutely incredible.
Cool.
Designed by Universal. You can tell there's either going to be a Wicked Land developed in Universal Studios
Ah,
or a complete ride and roller coaster because you just want to ride on that broomstick to, you
there you
know,
go.
just but the story is it just doesn't let you down. It's absolutely incredible. They captured the essence and the magic of the Broadway play, but they took it to Hollywood and they didn't miss a beat in my opinion.
Dude,
So
I love
100
that.
there's $114 million in the box office opening weekend, and they're just gonna ride that broomstick, that trajectory into this week, and I'm sure they're just gonna crush it
Well, yeah, of
globally.
course they are, and it's just one of those things that you talk about. This is the perfect time to drop that flick because the kids are off school this week. People are looking for something to do this weekend. They're going to want to get the kids out of the house. There's a little
Yeah.
place by our house called Strike and Reel, and it's like an arcade and a bowling alley and a movie theater, and it's got all these games and laser tag and all this stuff in one. And so you can take the kids there and they can run around, and then you can go watch a movie. And I think those places are going to become increasingly popular. Number one, because the parents like it, because they got Pac-Man and Space Invaders and all the old games that we used to play. So we're spending on that. But at the same time, we get to have fun with the kids, maybe do a little bowling round, go see a movie. And so these options are way more available now. And I've noticed it's always like a hybrid. It can't just be an arcade. it's a hybrid, and it's just like what we talk about in marketing. It's like you got to have the organic, and then if you really want to run the offer, you start to boost that offer. It's just like what these people doing. It's a hybrid of marketing. It's a hybrid of drawing people in, giving them a little piece of everything, and it's no surprise to me that that place is successful because it's fun for the parents too.
Oh, it's all about the reach. It's all about hitting the different socio demos. I mean, you just never know where your audience is, really going to be. Yeah, you can craft certain things to can be consumed or craft toward a certain like message and medium. But even as you specialize, even as you niche down, like we always find that there's still lingering demand for from other parties that just they want to work with you because you're a leader in what you do.
Right.
And like you said, it's like when you get out there and you do different things, and it's even the movie theater I went to this weekend, it's like we could have had like a full like fine dining experience before the actual movie. We went to Cheesecake Factory instead because my kids love that place and there's no shortage of options on the menu. But when we went from, Cheesecake Factory to Silver Spot Cinema, it was like maybe next time we'll try a full dinner here and then go into the movie. But great experience, and Christmas trees are out and all the holiday decorations. So it is a great time to get the family out, and the shopping malls, strip malls are just they're busy. People are out there. People are spending.
Totally. And it's just a sign also, I think that people are excited going into 2025. I think the consumer confidence is up. And I think that people are really looking forward to seeing what's possible. With business owners, there's going to be tax benefits for business owners. There's going to be lower taxes. I think people are excited about it. And I think that now that we know what's coming, people are preparing for that. And
Yeah.
we're going to see that start to ripple. And that stuff is real. I think that, and we always want to avoid that hacking people off because I know politics can be hack people off, but at the same time, there are lingering effects that come with this stuff that you're going to have to deal with for the next 4, 8, 12 years, no matter what happens. And regardless, we're all going to be successful anyway, because we're going to find a way to win. But any
Yeah.
way that you can be benefited as a business owner, I think that we saw recently that those people came out in droves because they want the benefits. And with things being more expensive, because of, like you said, the COVID era, with the government response to COVID and with the money that came out, both administrations, by the way, both
Yeah.
administrations that were in office, even when they transitioned to this current administration, both teams were sending money out increases the money supply, and inflation can be a byproduct of that. So it's no one person's fault, but we all have to deal with it. And so things are more
Hey,
expensive.
I mean, look, everything's going to keep driving itself, right?
It
And when you're
is.
driving, when I'm having these conversations about like what's going to be happening in 2025, it's like you got to look at 2024, where the eyeballs were, where
Yep.
the eyeballs are going. It's like you said Taylor Swift was bigger than the NFL. It's like I said that like when I was visiting New Orleans, like Taylor Swift was bigger than what they predict the Super Bowl is going to do to the city.
Unbelievable.
It's absolutely incredible. So why are we kidding ourselves? Like, oh, we need to be on this podcast. Somebody was trying to sell one of our clients OTT the other day, and she's like, "Yeah, people are asking about being in the football broadcast." And I was like, "You're never going to clear in a football broadcast through OTT." And she gave me a smile, and I'm like, I'm right. Like, you have to pay premium to actually be in that football broadcast. You're not going to get it through OTT, but you can get those same eyes. Like I said, United Airlines all over the NFL spending millions on that spot dropped it as soon as I went to Facebook and Instagram. I'm a Delta flight guy. I love Delta. So, but their ad was compelling, and I assure you we'll see it again on the Super Bowl if we're there watching the commercials if we don't get distracted. But my eyes, a lot of eyes, and we're the upcoming economy. Even our parents, like they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're
They are.
X, like that's where the political game's being won. That's where, the biggest influence in media is coming. Like, I mean, look, like Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? Like that, he bought it. Like
Big
that is
play.
the big play. Like you people are like, oh, how does he market and advertise? Like, are you kidding me? How does he market and advertise?
He
He's
became
got
a
the
personal
biggest
brand. Yeah, he became a
got the
viral
biggest
personal brand.
microphone in the world, like from a political agenda, political influence, the ability to influence even consumers of what they're doing or get traditional media to talk about what he's doing. anything he says or amplifies on Twitter X is probably a complete absolute discount for what he bought it at compared to like the amount of influence he's getting, the market capitalization of Tesla and where it's gone since he even his blockchain investments. I mean, God only knows how much he's worth off offline. But it's absolutely incredible. So when you're looking into 2025 and we talk about when some of these large tech companies are saying they can't miss on AI, as a business owner, I believe you just can't miss from investing in media content and social content and things that are going to drive people to your website and search and Google traffic. Because, when you get that Google traffic, remarketing them when they're on Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, all these other places and being top of mind, like you can't underinvest in that creative. And it's like you said, it's like the Taylor Swift economy. It's like small businesses out there, medium-sized businesses to create great content or have awesome content out there. It's going to take consultants or even creative producers, editors after the content is even filmed live. Like, what do you do with it? You edit some clips, you get it syndicated out there, and you start to really, materialize what you've produced in the raw sequence.
Dude, it's great. And the raw sequence is what people want now because they're tired of the scripted BS that they've been fed for so long. And it's not what they consume outside of the television. Everything that people consume outside of a television is raw, it's unscripted, it's real. You've got these people, I'm sure you've seen this on your Instagram feed, these guys that like jump. They like run on rooftops and like jump across to another rooftop or something. Have you seen these guys?
Yeah.
They're like one of the most viral things on Instagram. I'm praying for all of you guys' safety because I wouldn't be able to do it. But dude, there's guys, professional freaking roof jumpers that are getting millions of views and getting contracts with shoe companies and all this kind of stuff because they've built a brand. And so you can build a brand doing anything. If you're the dog groomer or you're the landscaping guy or you're the electrician or the HVAC company or you're the acquisitions guy or you're the marketer or media guy or the real estate person, you have to become the category, the go-to person in that category. And the best way to do that is by being searchable everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be searchable.
Being out there. I mean, it's just being out there. It's even you look at like how some of the shoe brands have evolved, or even like what role models are today. It's like
Right.
we all know Nike, it's the OG. It's like from when
Yep.
we grew up, Jordan built that company, and then you have a bunch of other guys that are trying to jump on the jump man. But as a business traveler, you see the On Clouds. There's another shoe that's been out there, but it's like when I get on flights, that's where I see my big shoe advertisements. Like you see what people are wearing for comfort. I play a Sunday basketball game too, and it's like, where you see what the other guys are wearing for shoes. You tell somebody go get some new kicks, but it's yeah, it's wild. It's like we said, like there's so many examples of like where traditional media is gone broke right now. It's
It
like
is.
it's absolutely incredible. It's like how many times can radio broadcasts go back to the government and be like, you need us in case of an emergency? You need to have like they're right now they're trying to get government bailouts for AM because it's like you need us to broadcast in case there's an emergency. Like I don't know that
No.
people are going to be like I don't even know how many people would have a radio in the course of
I
an
don't
emergency.
know that I
Reach
even
AM,
own
FM,
a radio. I remember back in the day, since I'm from St. Louis, a lot of St. Louis people are going to hear this and freaking jump me. But St. Louis, there's a lot of talk radio in the morning. And I will say St. Louis got a great culture when it comes to sports culture because the Cardinals are one of the best baseball teams ever. I think
Oh yeah.
think that the Cardinals have more World Series wins than anyone but the New York Yankees, and they definitely have the most World Series wins in the history of the National League. So culture-wise in St. Louis, we're a baseball town, right? And so morning talk radio is pretty big in St. Louis. And that was why I started, back in the day, I would make funny little sports songs, right? And that's what, has gotten me picked up by some people as well. But I noticed that there was a flaw in the system. It's that I can't listen or watch online. I have to like go into my car or something to get an AM radio. Why doesn't this work on my phone? And I think that was a huge flaw in that system. Those systems should be broadcasting on Facebook, on YouTube, on whatever. And what I noticed was the FM radio stations, there's a station called The Point in St. Louis, and The Point always broadcast those morning shows on YouTube. Like the famous morning shows were always on YouTube, and that became the most popular morning show in St. Louis. And people were so surprised by that, and I wasn't, because I'm like, well, dude, I can watch it on my phone. I don't have to pull up the radio. I can actually watch them broadcast it on my phone when I'm at the gym. No one wants to listen to FM or AM radio when they're at the gym. They want to choose
I
what
don't
they
even know how to
listen to.
get it.
I don't know how to get it. And so that technology, there's nothing wrong with talk radio. There's nothing wrong with the morning show. I think it's a smart strategy, but you have to make it available for everybody else. Or Zach and Pat are going to come in with the morning marketing show, and they're going to take your audience.
Well, it's wild. I mean, I do put on the FM dial sometimes when I drive my kids to school, and sometimes it's the biggest regret I made because the stuff the jockeys will say is so controversial, so controversial. Like they don't care where you're standing.
They run 10 minutes of ads, and you don't even get to hear a song or a show clip.
But the violation of like the audience, like the stuff, the messages they're getting out, like you don't even have your local jockeys anymore. I think there's one left in South Florida, one of the biggest markets in the country. It's all broadcast from New York, and this guy is like spinning his like a crazy stuff out of Clear Channel. It's like, dude, my kids do not need to hear this stuff in the morning at all. And you know what ends up happening? We go to Apple Music, and my kids are listening to Wicked, or they're listening to like relaxing music to get them into the headset for school. But like some of the crank calls and stuff I mean, they're hilarious, right? Like the crank yankers of the day and, making those live crank calls. But, a 7-year-old doesn't need to hear that on the car ride to school sometimes, So
and I think that's a great example of who's your client base. Are people that listen to, I mean, dude, I was listening to the Jerky Boys, 30 years ago. And it was like this fresh, cool idea. Prank phone calls are not anything that like anyone's seeking out anymore because it's been done so many times. And you also have to think about, well, what does my buying audience or what does my advertiser want to see me doing? And you have to meet the marketplace demand. I don't know that there's that much marketplace demand for that anymore, which is why that guy from New York is on your Clear Channel, because there's no marketplace demand for somebody to do that in Florida. We'll just get this guy. We'll just rebroadcast him through the channel. Saves us money, saves us time. And the viewership is probably, if we were able to look at the numbers, the viewership's probably not even that great.
I mean, who knows what the actual reach is or where they come up with some of those data. It's like how they all report the same numbers of growing audiences every year. Well, if the population's growing, the population's getting younger, I assure you they're not tuning into some of these traditional mechanisms.
Way.
Howard Stern is still not, he's not fighting for his spot on like, the FM dial to this day. I mean, Howard Stern was huge when we were growing up. Like that was like the jockey out there. It's amazing how the world has evolved. Even like the late night TV shows, like I myself am never up late enough to see the 11:30 broadcast.
Right.
And you see some of these guys, they get some huge contracts, but like Jimmy Fallon, who's been the biggest, his secret to success is his reach on YouTube. It's not even his reach on that live broadcast. It's his reach and his influence through his social mechanisms, through what he's doing on those other feeds. It's not what that live broadcast is bringing.
Yeah, I don't know that I think I maybe watched the first episode he ever did, which was who knows how long ago. But then, those clips, they show up on Instagram or they show up on YouTube, or him and Justin Timberlake or him and Metallica or him and the Roots or whatever. It's like, or him and Fish was another one I saw, because I love Fish. They're great guitar players and songwriters. But like, dude, I'm not going to like stay up and watch that. I'll just watch it on this YouTube.
Yeah. Or the clip that you want to see, the actual like short that you want to see, like that's where you'll follow up and see the action.
It's crazy, dude. And again, the moral of the story is that you out there have the power of marketing channels right in the palm of your hand. You don't need to use fancy software or any of that. I mean, you can literally record on your phone or go live on your phone today, and going into 2025, start to create some momentum for yourself so that when people are searching online for something, they can find you. You want to be searchable.
breaking the silence, breaking the content. Like, at our firm, we do a lot of social media syndication. Like, I'll be the first to admit, like, we can produce social media content, but there's a lot of great specialists out there who do a lot of video shorts and video creative. And the more we syndicate it, the more Google picks it up. Like you said, it's like, look, Google picks up TikTok, Google picks up Instagram, Google picks up Facebook. Like, they love to see content and they feed it, that it all goes into that engine for people
Yep.
to find.
Dude, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I'm excited about these. When you were like, dude, let's just hop on, do some lives. Like, dude, yeah, I'm already doing them. So it's easy for me to fit more people into here. And I'm sure this will turn into more and more and more and more people being on here, because with a Zoom call, we could literally run essentially a virtual summit on Monday mornings and have guest speakers. Anyone in the world can hop onto our Zoom link and come in and be a part of Marketing Monday now, because we are now creating that conversation, opening that door, and who knows who could join. We had a guy who came in as a referral who is signing on with our agency. His name's Dr. Robert Love, and he's got 1.3 million followers on Instagram and 2 million followers on TikTok. He's this viral neuroscientist that helps people with brain health to help them not get Alzheimer's, to avoid symptoms that could
That's
lead to
awesome.
Alzheimer's. And he came as a referral from a group, from the Carl Allen group, the Dealmaker Wealth Society. I always wear that 9FB thing. People are like, what's that 9FB thing? I'm like, it's the Carl Allen group. And look, that just came as a referral. Hey, Pat's the guy. You need to get your stuff produced. He can film like 130 videos for you in 2 days. And he's going to be out of town for a couple months. He's like, this is perfect. That kind of
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
only comes if you've made yourself available as that category person. Pretty cool.
Oh, just putting the content information out there. And even if, Dr. Love converts even a fraction of that massive audience he has,
Right.
a few thousand people into buying consumers. I mean, the amount of influence and the amount of economy he creates is tremendous. It doesn't take
Huge.
that much. I mean, it's like, it just depends on, your avatar and what you're going after. And it doesn't take that much to make an impact. It's
That's so
like
cool.
you said, it's a ripple. It's that Steve Jobs quote where he said, all I have to do is ding the universe, and look at what he's done. I mean, we're talking about him in his passing, but he's just like, just ding the universe, just make that slight impact. I always encourage clients, and they're like, why am I going to do social media? How am I going to do it? Just start doing it. The message you craft today on day one is not going to be the same as what you're doing day
No, you're
1000.
going to have to adapt. And that's part of the accountability of doing this. I think that social media is the ultimate accountability tool. I just had Sean Pilati, a friend of mine, another doctor, was in here. He's a doctor of regenerative health, helping you be healthy without surgery. So you got like knee pain, elbow pain, disc
Okay.
pain. He helps you regenerate your body in a healthy way to avoid surgery. And so we were going through all these different things, and Hydra whatever and all these things. He's a doctor, so it's kind of funny me talking to him. But I was able to pull out a lot of information from him. We went for almost 2 hours in this interview, and it was fascinating how much we are going to rely on our bodies to be optimized over the next 10 years, going into our what we want to be our prime years as entrepreneurs. And the Richard Bransons and the Joe Rogans and all these people realized that, listen, I've really got to optimize my cognitive health. I've really got to optimize my physical health, or I'm not going to be able to become the force that I can be in this world. And I think that as we move forward, that physical optimization as well as that digital optimization is something a lot of people are looking at.
Oh,
So
it's
this is
it's huge.
really
I mean,
cool.
longevity it's a real thing. It's definitely, I mean, you see it's one of my favorite movies is Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise,
I
like
like
just
that movie. It
where he
like
lives.
didn't do that great at the box office, but it was dope.
It's one of the classics out there, and it is about like the longevity cycle, but it's also, I was gonna go to LeBron James. I mean, he's one of the older athletes out there, and it's more than a rumor that he spends seven plus figures because he can, but like conditioning himself between chefs and training and all the
He's in
optimization.
great shape.
Yeah, he's like all the cyber freezes or whatever people are doing, the ice baths. I'm sure he was doing that like a decade ago. It's
Yep.
if you look at his training and what he invests in his like physical well-being, it's absolutely incredible. Tom Brady rumored to do, he went and studied Ichiro, who's like a baseball player who's got a famous like stretching routine. He went down to Miami when he was a Marlin, Ichiro, to study how he actually stretched to maintain his longevity in his career as well. And yeah, it's something yeah, I'll admit I neglect it a little bit sometimes, but like we
Oh,
all got to
dude,
keep up with it.
I was telling Sean that I'm like, dude, with moving into this house, building out the whole studio, traveling to MC, like 10 different gigs over the last 90 days, it's my system has been so out of whack. I've done exceptionally well some days and exceptionally poorly other days, but I'm very excited going into 2025 because now I have everything I need. And
Yeah.
so, since my schedule is free to be here, we're recording a ton of people are coming here. I'm going to be able to really optimize that time and come out in January, February, March feeling really good, getting all my lifts in, all my cardio in, my saunas, and jumping in the pool. That pool's cold. So I'm doing all the things that I've been taught by experts to do. And it's nice that I get to spend all this time with these incredible people because now I know exactly how their expertise applies to mine and how I don't know everything. But if I
Oh.
use the tools that they're showing me, boy, I'm going to get better.
Well, that all goes to where we started. I mean, we started about the secrets of like podcasts and how they just extract information out of people that you might have never heard before. And
Yep.
even I've been in the content hub over at your studio,
Yep.
and we basically start with one question, and then you're utilizing AI and other things to like prong the next set of questions and keep building on it just based on the natural flow of the communication. And the human mind is capable of so much, and the ability to extract information from these experts because they're experts in health, right? And they're not necessarily talking to a guy like you every day that knows how to extract information or interview them. And they're also talking to somebody about a specific pain point. So when you come
Right.
across asking these like holistic questions about their impact or what they do in their industry or how they can impact an individual, you're pulling out a whole nother segment of information that they might have never even thought about before.
Yeah, dude, totally. And I think it makes it fun because they're like, oh man,
Oh,
I've
for
never been
sure.
asked that before. Well, here's what you got to do. And I think that that forces real experts to dig deep and find that information that can get the audience the result for free first. I think this is what works. This is what's worked best for me. If I can get you results first by giving you information. This is why it's so important for us to keep doing these. I'm glad we're doing these. If we can help people get results by just watching us for free, imagine what the results are going to be if you actually hire us.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, look, if they start doing it for free and they start to actually feel an impact, right? That's the reality is when
Right.
people seek information out there, they want to make a difference because like half the battle, like honestly, like if a client doesn't engage with us and like what we need to do, like it's like you can't just hire a vendor and expect magic. Like if you're not
No.
participating on the other side, if you're not a good client, if you're not like partaking or even like sharing your vision or direction or like what you want to actually have, accomplish. Like I'm doing with one of those right now where it's like it's a moving target. I let the client know going into it. This is a 3 to 6 month cycle of like where things are going to go and like, that we need to focus on this.
Yep.
They're in 6 to 8 weeks and they're like, what's the deliverable? What am I actually seeing? I'm like, dude, you knew getting into this was going to be a 3 to 6 month heavy cycle of pivoting, of evolution, of dynamics, of you communicating with us and partaking and engaging, getting us content and information to give like a real feed. I mean, like you, Pat, like what type of magic could you do if somebody hires you for social media and then they're like,
They don't give me any files. Yeah. I mean, that's a struggle. Um, that's a struggle is making sure we can get videos from people. A lot of people we work with are really, really, really busy. So we either need to get on digital calls like this, and I need to have them film from another camera, ask them questions. They're being filmed from a phone or something, then they drop us the files. That works.
oh yeah.
Or, we give them a list of topics. They film stuff. They drop it into the folder. Or, we have, and this is a lot of people too. We have people that, we have our weekly deliverables on their social media, but they send us other stuff and they're like, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do the other thing? And of course we over deliver, but sometimes that overlaying stuff, it can take us a little longer because, we're still trying to hit the bottom line stuff, the fundamentals, the daily stuff. And we're always willing to go above and beyond for people, but it can get hectic, especially this time of year when we've got people that have deadlines of, Tuesday or Wednesday where they've got stuff they need to run ads to, and we've got to have it all ready in a folder for them to be analyzed and approved and put up. And then they're spending money to utilize that media to drive traffic for sales. I mean, these are big commitments. This is what represents certain people's brands.
I mean, look, but that's part of delivering results. It's working, putting in the work that it takes to drive those results for people. And it's like I said, it takes an engaged client to deliver results. It's both sides of the story. So it's really, really important when you hire a vendor to like partake. And if they're asking you certain questions or asking for certain deliverables, that you get it to your vendors or agencies to help you deliver your message and get to your end goals. It's critical.
Totally, dude. Rock and roll,
definitely,
dude.
Yeah, man. We've covered a lot today.
Yeah, we have.
It's been a fun Marketing Monday going into
Marketing Monday. I love it. So we got Thanksgiving coming up. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Got a ton of holidays right around the corner. Happy holidays to you all. And we will be back next Monday. Right, Zach?
Yeah, for sure.
We're doing this. We're going to get consistent. So Mindset Monday has become Marketing Monday. We always cover the mindset anyway, because if you don't have a mindset for success, then you're not going to be able to get that clear mission, put that message out there, and get the results. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am Pat Hilton, joined by Zach Hoffman. It is Marketing Monday on the Social Marketing Show. You can follow us both here on Facebook. Add us. Send us a DM. We're both in the social marketing group too. So if you have questions, pop a question into the group. If you got a question about paid ads, Google search, SEO, websites, etc., hit up Zach. If you need media to run all those things too, hit me up. Let's all collaborate. Let's make some moves. And 2025 is right around the corner. Zach, as always, my friend, I'll see you soon.
All right, see you soon, man. Have a
Later,
great one.
brother.
Nice holiday.